Welcome back to DXB today, where tonight we take you to the streets of Dubai, and we're very happy to announce our next guest who founded his brand as a side hustle 11 years ago. Please join us in welcoming to the show the man behind Shabab, an international sports and leisure brand. Moha is here. Moha, thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
So what does that mean when we say, when we talk about what Shabab is?
So technically, I mean, what we do is streetwear initially, but we shifted more towards sportswear and leisure wear. That's how I like to label it. And the things we do are, I guess our spectrum is like everyday things like hoodies, t-shirts. We've also experimented with sunglasses as well. So we've done a pair of like sports sunglasses. Most of our stuff is, we like to do also like pop-ups and sort of stuff where people can come and experience the world of Shabab. We recently did a collaboration with musicians from Toronto, Majid Jordan. We did their tour merch for them. And then before that, we were in Kuwait, we did a pop-up there. So we kind of like to do those little pockets of moments where people can come and sort of celebrate the brand. And we also, like for Kuwait, we did like a special Kuwait t-shirt, kind of commemorate our relationship with the city.
I did want to ask, because Shabab, of course, means young
youth,
people,
yes.
youth in Arabic. Is it inspired by Arab culture?
I mean, the name actually initially came from a cartoon channel we used to watch growing up called Space Toon. And their slogan was Qanaat Shabab al-Mustaqbal.
Yes.
So I wanted to do something that was very generic and had like sort of like deep meaning that was kind of general to say and easy to say. And from that it was nice because we built like the world of the universe of Shabab, which is like we're very into football, music. You see some of our graphics are very inspired by like 80s sports, movie posters from the 80s and 90s. And we try to also like build on that and progress and build our sort of own identity as a brand. And yeah, it's been fun. Being here has been fun because there's a lot of stuff that we can give and take to the city. And yeah, we've been part of different events or whatever. Not events, but like, let's say stuff like Soul DXB where we've been there, I think, for the last couple of years. And it's a nice space because we get to talk about who we are, and also it's in the right context of what we do. So it just feels natural to kind of be there and do these things.
I want to kind of set the scene because it's 11 years ago, this side hustle that's now turned into this incredible brand. Set the scene for us as to where you were in your life, why you decided to even start creating Shabab, and what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I was living in Canada at that moment. So before I moved here, I was in Canada, and at that time it was like there's big hype on like, before Instagram there was like Tumblr, and like there was like,
I was on Tumblr. Yeah.
Me too. So there was like sort of like this new wave of like people like DIY of stuff, and there's like DJs that are making clothes and like people doing merch for other brands. So I was like, how come there's nothing that I feel that I could represents me, let's say, and instead of like consuming other people's cultures, why don't we export our culture and let people and sort of like create this space where we can exchange, like a cultural exchange sort of thing. And I just did caps, and then slowly my friends like, oh, this is cool, like I would like one. And then I did like an online website, and then slowly grew to something. And then I moved here because I did a collaboration with our friends from Kuwait 10 years ago, Super Soul. And I was supposed to ship them the hats, but shipping was like $700. So I was like, hey, I'll just book a flight.
Why not?
So I booked a flight to Kuwait, and I just never went back to Canada.
Wow, beautiful.
So until this summer.
Well, there you go.
So it's been 10 years. But
It's a long time.
yeah.
So Cheb, man, it's great meeting you.
You too, man.
I mean, we bump into each other all the
For
time
sure.
at different events. It's been 11 years, you said?
Yeah.
That's a pretty long journey, more than a decade, man.
Yeah.
That's great. As a young brand, I mean, Sway's been around for about 2 years, full time, I guess. What are the things that you struggle with, and how did you overcome as a young brand? I'm sure you've seen a lot in those.
For sure. I
11
think
years.
initially it was like, how could we make a product that, first I was like, it would be nice to produce something in the region. So we were like in Ajman, Sharjah, trying to find like factories that could like help make things that we wanted to make. And we found a factory in Ajman, and that was like sort of the beginning. Is like, okay, how can they produce something that's of quality that we want? And I think slowly the quality wasn't, I would say, as good as it is now, but now we have like very good quality that I'm proud of. And it was just sort of like a trial and error situation where, okay, this is good, but it could be better. We get feedback from people and such. And also the idea of like, how could we sell? Like we had issues with like doing online and like all this whole like sort of paperwork that I don't like to do, but somehow
be done.
it has to be done.
Yeah.
And then I think even in the UAE, it kind of makes it easier now for people to like set up a brand and get a license, trade license, do a website.
True.
So all these things is like very DIY that like you can't teach it. So you kind of have to like either learn it or get someone that can sort of help
True
you with.
entrepreneur that
Yeah.
is, isn't it?
So
Exactly.
I think it's just a shift from being creative to like business, and how can you still be creative but transition to making what you do into a business. And I think that was like the most challenging part.
It's a
But
marriage of both worlds.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing. I wanted to ask you, because you came from Canada, moving to the UAE,
Yes.
I think the street culture also was completely different from there to here.
for sure.
And I think you have witnessed it growing in the UAE as well. So can you walk us through that as well?
Yeah, I mean, when I first came here, there was, I don't want to say there was no street culture because I was not from here,
Yeah.
but I think it was as less as it is as it is now.
Yeah.
You have stuff again, like I want to mention Sodexy, because that was sort of my first. I'm like, oh, this is so cool that there is this
There is a place.
a place where people
yeah.
can exist and interchange ideas. There's music, there's different
Exactly.
food, and I feel like just by being there also, and people for the last couple of years have been popping up doing their own thing. I feel like it's a challenge, but in like a healthy way where people are like, okay, I want to also do my own thing. So I feel like now from the global scope of things, I feel like people that look to the UAE and Dubai specifically, they see that there is a very strong cultural rooted sort of scene, let's say, whether it's music, fashion, sports, and you have very like different independent entities that are like pushing culture forward, let's say.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to be a part of that, and I've seen it kind of go slowly, and now here we are.
Look at it now.
It's honestly, it's absolutely phenomenal, and I know we could chat to you for hours,
sure.
and I definitely know that Vishal wants to grab you before you go anywhere.
I heard him.
Yeah, exactly. Our time today is up. Moha, thank you so much. And we
Thank
wish
you for having
the
me.
best of luck with
And
Shahab.
see you guys.
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you.